Hello, welcome to the podcast. Today I'm talking to Lauren, who's built a successful business, and we're going to be discussing the energetics of business and the different elements that go into building her business and what works for her and what potentially could be working for you too. So you're a wellness, but wellness sits in a big bracket, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
wellness falls into so many categories.
Yeah, it really does. So that was part of my journey. I was diagnosed with arthritis when I was 2.
Yeah.
And I was wheelchair bound by the time I was 18. So at that point, I decided I was going to go on a journey to find wellness, I guess, to find a way out of the wheelchair and back to wholeness. And what happened along the way was that I realized that it wasn't just one thing that was going to heal me. It was many things. So even when I kind of really, perfected the nutrition and, the supplements and all that side of it, I still wasn't fully better, because then I had to realize that there was the emotional side and the trauma and the spiritual and all of it. And it was when I combined all of it that I did get better. It took me 10 years, literally took me a decade. And so what I do within my business is combining all of those things. So combining the physical, mental, emotional and spiritual aspects of self, which is how I found with all my clients over the years, anyone I've worked with, really is the only way to long-term healing. If you really want to, and I'm talking like go into a state of healing and it not come back, you need to do all of it. Now, the challenge with that in business is that it's much easier now, being that, the markets are so saturated with online coaches, to niche down as much as you can. And my business mentor talks about all this all the time, like, niche down as much as you can, like niche, and I'm going, yeah, but my thing is so broad. And I'm not trying to be this person who's like, yeah, but I don't need to niche. But my niche is that it covers everything within wellness, because that's the only way to heal.
I imagine this is a bit of a battle between you and your mentor that you're kind of having.
Well, no, he gets it.
He wants you to be specific, and you're wanting to reach more and help more.
He gets why I do what I do. He's now just trying. So he's like, okay, so you have to find a solution for that.
Yeah.
You have to find how do you still target the audience that is your audience and help them to find you based on what you've got. But, because I work with, nutrition and inner child and trauma and neuroplasticity and spirituality, it's like, okay, where do you put your focus? That's the challenge.
And a lot of them. So would you say you're healing like a type of trauma? Would you normally say it's physical or mental? Does it fall into any category, or is it you're helping people on any type?
Yeah. So what I realized was, people would approach me years ago who also had arthritis. And I would always say it really doesn't matter what dis-ease you are suffering from. It all requires the same approach. That's why I do what I do. And that's why my approach is the same with everyone. When it's supplements and it's nutrition, it has to be personalized. And I'm very big. I mean, I do functional testing with all my clients. So we test genetics, toxicities, elements, like everything, hormones, thyroid, everything. But with the healing approach as a whole, everyone's had trauma, right? Everyone needs to heal their inner child. Everyone needs to understand, stuff about, their like epigenetics, their ancestral trauma. We all need it all. So with trauma, it's pretty much whatever your particular trauma is, and we work to uncover that.
And in a similar fashion, so I own a few sports rehab clinics around London. They're called Assemble Therapy. And those clinics the main thing is that we help strength athletes, help them through injury, pain. And I've taken a lot of people that have dealt with the NHS, aren't happy with what they've been. Obviously, you'll hear they're not very happy because it's a free service, so there's so much wait time. The service isn't normally as good for physiotherapy. And for arthritis, a lot of the times they're only told, do weight training, strengthen your muscles, because that's one of the few things that helps arthritis. So what would be the different approach that you'd take with someone like that?
Oh my God. Where do I start? Well, I was in physio for years, but the thing is arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So let's start there, because you've got rheumatoid and osteo. Rheumatoid arthritis doesn't come from the joints. It comes from the immune system.
Yeah.
So you can strengthen the muscles around the joints. All that will do, I say all, it's very important. What that will do is strengthen the muscles around the joints so the muscles don't waste away.
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of the arthritis. You're not even improving it slightly. And the irony is that sometimes when your joints are really inflamed, and I know this, I've been there for the majority of my life, the more exercise you do, the more you're inflaming the joints, right? So you're in this constant paradox of, I need to strengthen the muscles because and I've had it, my knee muscle wasted away. Like, I mean, the muscle next to
your VMO.
I don't know.
The teardrop muscle right next to
exactly that one, completely wasted away. Like for years, there was like a gap, you know, like a dent.
Yeah.
And it's only in recent years I've built that back up. So, you know, the muscle strengthening exercises are super important, but your healing is going to come from your immune system. Like, it's an autoimmune disease. So what the medical system does is try to shut down the immune system with strong drugs that shut it down so that it doesn't release the inflammation.
Yeah.
I took the opposite approach. I said, well, that didn't work. That just made me really, really sick because the drugs were like chemo-based drugs, and it shuts down your immune system. So when I was in this state of, all right, I was on this chemo drug, it literally nearly killed me. It damaged my liver. My hair fell out. I was so sick. The arthritis was then in every joint in my body. I mean, I couldn't grip cutlery and bring food to my mouth. I had to be fed. I had to be taken to the toilet.
This is all throughout your teens?
This was, like when I was 18, 19, I was literally as disabled as it gets. And then I was like, what if I did the opposite? What if I built my immune system up to be the strongest it could be, as opposed to shutting it down to stop to stop releasing the disease? What if I built it up, and because it was so strong and it wasn't fighting against itself, which is what autoimmunity is, what if from that place it stops releasing the disease? And that's actually what happened.
Amazing. That's so good.
But it takes a lot of perseverance, and that's the thing, you know. It's when you're in a wellness business, it's almost having to, I don't want to convince people that they need to do the hard work, you know.
Well, they need to come half convinced already. They need to come already half persuaded.
Exactly.
And then you'll be like, this is the right path for you.
Right. Yeah.
If you're trying to do all the work, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Totally. I've had, you know, people approach me that will be like, I just, you know, I really want to get better, but I know you do a lot and I just don't know if I can do that. And I'm not sure I want to put the effort in. And I'm like, you choose your hard. Yeah. Choose your hard.
So when you have like a call so you offer online coaching and you have programs as well?
Yeah, so I don't do one-to-one clients anymore. Mm-hmm. I do have my 12-month mentorship program. So people will sign up for a year and work with me in like a mentorship process over a year.
Because you need that long-term commitment to really see the benefits.
And when I was working, and I don't work with anyone, so I'm a qualified nutritionist, I've got lots of different qualifications. I've never taken on a client just for nutrition, because I get a lot of women, like, I need to, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to, you know, improve my nutrition. And I say, what I want to get to is why your relationship with your food and with your body and food is like that in the first place. From that place, we can heal, because I can give you the best nutrition program in the world, but if you haven't healed that, it's never going to shift. So my programs are working with people over a longer period is for that reason. I think it needs that complete holistic approach. Yeah. So my 12-month mentorship program is that I take very few people onto it. So it's quite a long waiting list. But I have my Recondition Your Life Academy. So it is the healing of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So it's just for women, and it's an online course. So it's self-paced, and but we have bi-weekly coaching calls that I run. So women join in the calls, they send questions in, they have the support within the group as well, within all the women within the academy. And it literally takes you through everything: inner child healing, shadow work, I mean, everything you can imagine, as well as health optimization.
Yeah, I love it. There's like, when I describe my personality to a lot of people, I have like two sides. So I've got this hippie side and this very much capitalist side to my brain as well. So one side is always chasing business, thinking more, and expansion of my business and growing other businesses. Mm-hmm. And the other side is like, I've explored the meditation side and that part. And it's always like yin and yang.
Exactly. So, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And that masculine, feminine energy is always like an internal battle that I'm having, because as I find that I'm chasing more and wanting more, there's less being given to me.
Totally.
And how do I balance that? And then how do I come to the thoughts of like, how do I need to balance that? At the moment, my mindset's been so yang that I've been thinking, I don't need to balance anything. I'm just going to keep chasing. And when there's a need, I'll feed that need and I'll serve it then. But how, and you're obviously nodding, and you know this approach can lead to some sort of unhappiness, but then how would I balance this? Because my whole focus is all built on building right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. Like when I was telling you about, I went to Phuket, to this meditation center, and I spoke to the shaman there, and I said to him, I'm interested in meditating, and he took me through this meditation. It took 2-3 hours, and at the end I said to him, you know what, I didn't really get much from that. I was thinking about what I'm going to do later. I wasn't observing my thoughts. I wasn't organizing everything. I was just thinking what I'm doing tomorrow. And then he said to me, do you think you need meditation? And he said, and I said, I don't, after today, I don't think I need it. And he said, are you happy? And I went, yeah, I'm really happy. I'm very lucky that I don't have many bad days.
Right.
And he said to me, what things are important to you? I said, family, friends, training, business, all the things that I'm really passionate about. If I took those away, are you happy? I said, well, no. He said, so then your happiness is conditional.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it changed my outlook on happiness, where the sun's always shining, sometimes there's clouds in the way.
Right.
And that mindset shift of how I should be thinking about things, if I think about it more in a broader sense, how I should be feeling different sides of my brain. Do you have much of an outlook on that?
Yeah, so much to unpack there. So firstly, I'll go to the meditation side of it. Yeah. So we often do meditation and feel like it's not achieving anything. I've been meditating for 21 years. So I started meditating at that point in my life where I told you about I was 18. And 21 years later, I've been meditating most days since then. My meditation doesn't look that different to how your meditation would look, because the purpose of meditation is not to reach enlightenment. There are many purposes to meditation, and a lot of the time, the main focus of meditation is to just reduce your cortisol levels. And because we're living in these really high impact lives where our brainwave states are the heightened brainwave. We're operating mainly from the beta brainwave states, which is this really heightened brainwave state. And just beneath that is a state called alpha. And alpha, underneath that is theta. Theta is the meditative state. Alpha is the one where we're calm, relaxed, focused. That's where we want to be as much as possible. When you do breath work, it takes you straight into alpha. Meditation takes you into alpha and then to theta. Now, even if you don't want to get into the theta state, which we should, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but just being able to get into alpha daily is going to reduce your cortisol levels, which increases your immune capacity, because when you've got a lot of cortisol, you're compromising your immune system. Also, when you've got a lot of cortisol, it reduces melatonin levels, so your sleep's going to be impacted. The other thing that we do in meditation is the only time ever recorded where the two hemispheres of the brain, so the right and left hemispheres of the brain, work in unison. So what it does, there's a bridge that connects the two parts of the brain called the corpus callosum. And meditation is the only time where that bridge is actually working. We strengthen it. So by doing that, meditation also strengthens neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is, so we used to think that we were hardwired, and we now know through advancements in neuroplasticity over the last 20 years that we can rewire our brains to achieve many more things than we can. So I grew up being told I was average. I wasn't very intelligent. I wasn't a high flyer. I've taught myself to be intelligent. I now read medical research papers because I had to. I wanted to find a way to get better, and I dedicated it. So I've literally educated myself to be intelligent. And what's happened is the more that there's 3 stages of neuroplasticity: learning, retraining, and perfecting. When you learn something, you start increasing your brain's ability to retain that information. The more you learn, the more that happens. We also have this process called myelination. So when you retrain, or when you do something new, like learn an instrument or learning an instrument or learning a new language, are the 2 best things you can do to increase neuroplasticity. So what happens is the neurons in the brain get coated with this white fatty acid called myelin. And what that does is it enables us to create an entire new synaptic connection that wasn't there before. So you can actually kill an old habit by perfecting a new habit and keep your focus on that one, and you kill off the old brain cell.
Can you give me an example of, let's say someone's a smoker.
Yeah.
So what kind of habit would they need to be creating to stop this?
So with smoking, you need to actually change your identity. So a lot of the work I do, I would say all my work comes down to, and this is what we begin with, I begin and end with everything in my courses, my programs, everything, with identity. So my husband was a smoker for a long time, and he never, even at times when he quit, he was never able to fully quit, because he'd always say, I'm always going to be a smoker. I'll always want to be on holiday and have a cigarette. It was when he shifted his identity from the person who was a smoker to the person who identified as not being a smoker, as being a non-smoker. The more you practice that identity, you can do journaling practices. There are loads of things you can do to actually promote that identity to yourself. So my whole point of this, just to say that meditation actually strengthens that ability. So if you want to create a new habit, break an old habit, meditation is going to help you with that. Then to go back to your yin yang point, such a great point, and amazing that you brought that up. I love that you recognize that as being such a yang person, but you still recognize there is masculine and feminine in everything, right? So the whole universe is made up of masculine and feminine energies. And the reason the world doesn't work very well is because it's all run on very, like heavy masculine energy.
Yeah.
And you need the intuition and the nurture. So like you, I run a business, and when I'm in business, money's a masculine energy, right? So I need to have that flowing within me to understand, to be able to bring money in and to be able to understand how to run my business and not just be like, oh, I'm just in flow state and I just hope that my business will just magically work.
Yeah.
Because it won't, right?
That's a misconception that you would have about someone
right.
who's so calm, relaxed, has this nice, friendly energy that you've got. But you obviously don't, because you run a successful business.
I run a business, and I am in my business, processes and systems and protocols and spreadsheets and all the rest of it. And I have a team, and I run a team, and I have to have that masculine energy in order for that to work. And then also, if I have a decision to make, I will assess the logic and the data and, what's the money saying, what the, numbers saying. But then I'll check in with my intuition. Because the intuition is the sacred gift of the feminine. And without that, none of us function. So the reason that men are often so unhappy without the things, right, the family, the friends, the business, the da-da-da-da-da, is because men are disconnected from their feminine and from their intuition. Yeah. When we can tune back in with intuition, as masculine or feminine, you're in a much better place to run your business. You can't run your business. You can. It won't go very well for very long. On simply the masculine. Once you balance that out and you have that access to nurture and intuition, your team will be happier, you will be more grounded and focused, and you'll be able to make decisions. Some of the most successful, impactful CEOs I've ever spoken to will say to me they make decisions from a place of intuition. I'm sure you've heard that as well.
Yeah, the one thing I've heard is the very wealthy make decisions very fast. Yeah. Because they have a gut feeling. Right. And we know the gut feeling is so linked to the brain because it's such similar cells, such a similar system that it has. Yeah. So the gut feeling is always there because it's linked to that. Yeah. It's gut feeling is not always a binary way of thinking. My natural way of thinking is binary, yes or no. But when I've moved away from non-binary thinking, which is how much, how little. Right. And that way of thinking has now changed me a lot because when people actually connect with me with my business, the first call that they have, which is like a discovery call, are we the right fit? I'm very much yes or no. But then as soon as they work with me, the feedback that I get is such a different energy. You're so much kinder than I thought you were going to be.
That's
because
nice.
Now when they're working with me, I now start to bring out that more caring, nurturing energy for their business because their success is my success.
Totally. And that's the biggest point that I would make as well in business. Something I come back to all the time that is one of the biggest gift my shaman has given me is when you have a business, you are in the business of solving problems and you're serving people. Yeah. Servitude is what you're here for. When you're there for the money, it doesn't work, right?
I agree.
The money is a great byproduct of running a successful business, but it's not the reason we start a business. We all start businesses because we feel we can serve in some way. We can help people. We can, even clients that I've had, and I'm like, well, okay, well, how are you serving? And, I have a client who runs an events company and, she owns event spaces and she goes, but I run events. I'm not like in healing or, I said, you are helping people create lifetime memories. You are serving. So when you get stressed at everything that's going on, remember that you are serving them. And I think that's what everyone needs to, and that really is the feminine. When you can be running your business from a place of servitude, you shift everything. Even when I'm in the middle of a launch and I'm like, you're in that state of, you could go one way into the how well is it doing? And am I, you bring it right back to how many people am I serving right now? If 5 people have registered, if 10 people, if 50 people have registered, those people are going to be served by this work.
So funny you say this because, the first one of my early experiences of work was in a restaurant. I was a waiter. It was in Matlock, all the way up north near Derby. And this restaurant, the outlook that I've got was, I'm there to serve every single person. And at times you're having a bad day, but you're still smiling and you're still giving them an amazing experience for their meal.
Yeah.
That same experience that I had as a teenager, I still carry forward to my business now.
I love that.
And one of my first questions I ask every business owner, online coach, gym owner that comes on board is, who do you serve? And because we're there to help our customers, when you make your entire business customer centric, you're going to achieve far more, because every customer is happy. They're now going to refer you. Totally. And then your business grows off the back of that. So it's funny how we come at it from two different angles, but it's the same answer.
Totally. So this is why I'm just about to launch a business course. It's going to be called the Female Entrepreneur Academy. So then the reason I'm doing it is because I have a lot of women in my programs or who approach me who are running small businesses, and they are often they're too far into their feminine, not the masculine, right? So, and they want to learn all the processes of actually running a business. But what we do as well is work on, how are you serving? Where are you not showing up authentically?
Yeah.
You know, how can you get more visible and feel okay with it? And the energetics of money. Like, the energetics of money is a massive thing. Like, how can you be open to the masculine energy of money, but open to the feminine energy of being in flow state and receiving state to be able to receive that money?
And those same attributes are one reason why certain genders progress more and certain don't. Obviously, there's an inequality there, which is getting better in some way, whether it's by major moves or small. But there's obviously the natural gender traits that you might have, but also there's the gender gap that we're now trying to fix. So when someone was talking to me the other day, they're saying, oh, it was only 30, 40 years ago that women have got more rights than... So it's only just a new thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're still working our way there. So the fact that you've got like a female entrepreneurial group is amazing, because it empowers everyone.
Well, I think a lot of the issues I see as well, and I know I experienced myself, is when I had my kids, you know, you have to, when you're running a business and you're a mother, it's really challenging, because I want to be a present parent, right? I've also got a business to run. Now, my husband goes into the city and he has a business and he has 30 staff, and so he has to be there. So regardless of the fact that I'm running my business, I'm still the sole, you know, I'm doing the school runs and all of that. And so most of the women that come my way are in the same position. So a lot of my work is, okay, if you've got 4 hours a day to work, how can we optimize those 4 hours to get the very best out of your business in that time you've got? You know, and I think that's what it's coming back to. You know, a lot of the stuff that women face when it comes to running business is that they have had children, and we have to take that into account. You can't be and do everything. And I think that we face issues when we try to be and do everything. Either your children are going to suffer, you're going to suffer, or your business is going to suffer. Yeah. So how can we actually create a world where we can do it all without compromising any of that? And that requires a real different approach.
Yeah, my sister only recently came to me and said, after 10 years of raising my kids, and I want to go back into work. She's a very qualified lawyer, and that big psychological barrier of how does someone now get back into work? So I've connected her with people who are going to get her back into work. And, you know, within the Asian community, I don't know if you know, it's like, it's not often a woman has kids and goes back into work, because now you're a full-time mum.
Yeah.
I'm very much encouraging her, and I think it's an amazing thing that she can feel fulfilled in many ways, because you shouldn't just be family and kids is going to be one side of fulfillment, but there's going to be your career, your own goals shouldn't be so submissive that you can't do them. So how do you strive for them? And that big barrier of getting back into work, I can imagine how tough it's. When after lockdown, going back to work for me, it was a bit tough. I remember I was working at Virgin Active at the time, and I remember it was mid-July 2020. I went back to work, and I was like, how do I even do any of this?
Wow.
So imagine for a mum, when you've been through it and you've not worked for a while.
No. Well, this is why so much of the work I do focuses on purpose, right? Because the first thing I ask women, whether they're mums or not, is, if I asked you to tell me who you are without telling me your parental status, your relationship status, or your job title, can you? And 99.9% cannot. And what I want to get every woman to is being able to say, yes, this is who I am. Because when you live in purpose, everything flows from there, you know, and you can make a choice. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mum for 10 years because that's the season of my life that I'm in, and I want to dedicate my life to my children. And I think that's beautiful. That's sacred and it's beautiful, and I think women should be having the opportunity to do that and then be able to go back to work if and when they want, with the encouragement they need to do that. But that all comes down to purpose deservingness and self-worth.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of uncovering, you know?
It does. Because like a lot of the times if we, in society, when we refer to a woman, we might say that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's sister. We always refer back to the
Well,
man.
like you say, it's very much a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
So like in my course, we do a lot of ancestral healing, and we do a lot of like unpacking cultural norms
Yeah.
where it's different in different cultures. Although, you know, in a lot of minority cultures, it's very similar with nuances, but similar kind of traumas. And, you know, so that in itself requires unpacking. And I think we're starting to see that in the corporate world, you know, with kind of diversity and inclusion and different sorts of things coming up in corporate businesses. I just did a project with Salesforce, and they've got an incredible thing going on with diversity and inclusion. They've got like groups. I don't know how they call it, like mini communities within
This for
their
the London
company.
office.
Yeah.
It's Liverpool Street.
Liverpool Street. Yeah, in the Heron Tower.
Yeah.
For every culture and every minority group you can imagine, so that everyone feels like they have their place.
Yeah.
I think that's so special.
That is, especially for like big conglomerates like Salesforce. They have so many staff, so many working remotely.
You can just get lost.
Yeah,
you know?
you do.
Yeah.
Especially in this remote working environment, you don't feel connected to a culture anymore.
Right.
There's no office banter, office relationships that you have.
Right.
So how do you connect with your staff? So the fact that they're implementing something like that is pretty good.
And actually, I feel like the worst companies are the mid-range companies, because the big companies, they know they have to do stuff like that now, right? They're being pressured into it, if anything, and they're doing it, and they have staff that hire just to manage that. And the small companies, like me, team of 4, obviously I care about my team and I want to make sure that we're all happy. It's like the kind of 30 to 50 staff companies. That's where I'm seeing the problem in that corporate environment, because they're still building themselves up and they're so focused on who's doing what, and that they don't. Those are the companies where I'm seeing they're missing out on that.
And those type of companies, they're about to grow. And as they're about to grow, the culture is about to get diluted massively.
Totally.
And what we refer HR now is the people team in so many different corporations now. Yeah. So the people team is usually a group of people in big companies, someone individual working in a small setting. In the middle range companies, there is a big gap. There isn't not really one person focused on that.
Yeah, and I think that's the best thing those companies can do is, from when they start, have your ethos. And your values. Like, what's that saying? Write your values in stone and your opinions in sand. I love that. But, you know, have as a company your values in stone and set that precedent from the start. So this is how we want to approach this. This is how we want to approach that. This is how we want to approach diversity, inclusion, whatever it might be, wellness, you know, bringing in, and that from the offset. And then as you grow, people know that that is the culture of this business. And it becomes you become a destination employer for that reason, right?
Yeah. I actually had an online coach on board with me last week, and he said to me, why does this mission statement and values matter? I've never had to think of it. I just want to know how to make money. Get me to 50 clients. That's what he said to me.
Wow.
And I said, I had to, because obviously when someone's enrolled, the first thing they want to do is we look at the small wins in their business. How can we make the money right now? They just invested with us. But obviously the bigger piece is the foundation for their business and laying the bricks is going to be their mission statement and their values, because everything else is built after that. Yeah. So when I've done that session with him, mission statement, some companies spend 6 months doing their mission statement. So I've said to him, let's just spend an hour working your mission statement, who you're serving, what problem are you trying to fix, what's the pain point of your customers, and I'm taking him through this activity. And as we've gone through it, he's like, it all makes sense now. I know what I have to do. And before then, he was just confused. Why are we even doing this? Yeah. So it's a task that everyone should be going through for their business.
Totally. Do you ever listen to or read anything from Simon Sinek?
Yeah, I actually, in my sales training that I have, the golden circle, the what, why, and how of Simon Sinek is something that I teach as well, because I got it from Simon Sinek.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's got like an online portal now.
Yeah.
And I know it's some people have said it's amazing, but some of his old books, The Why, I love some of my favourite books.
Same. Yeah, I'm reading The Infinite Game at the moment. I've read Start with Why and What's Your Why, but that's it. Like, start with your why, and you can use that from a corporate perspective that Simon Sinek's coming from working with businesses and the military, or you can just go back to the shamanic way of how are you serving. It's all the same thing, but I don't think that any business, and this is where I see business and spirituality merging, because at the end of the day, people, you know, can word spirituality thinking that it's very woo-woo, but we're all beings living on this earth right now. There's something more to it. We all know that. So, well, some people don't. Some people think you die and go into the earth and that's that. But something's happening that we can't see, right? We know now, we can measure like quantum energy. Like there is an energy that is existing here. Everything in the universe holds a vibrational structure.
Yeah.
Therefore, we're all cosmic beings. So we're all spiritual. So merging these, you know, ancient teachings with business, I think is the key to running successful businesses.
Definitely. And in Sam Snick's book, in the first chapter, he talks about the Motorola phone, on how they got outdated.
Yeah.
And the phone got outdated in their mission statement and who they were serving. He links it back to that. And then if we really think about our customers and we don't adapt, that's when we get left behind, like the Nokia and the Motorola phone. So how do we make sure we're not them? It's by having a clear mission statement and values, and we're always thinking ahead and adapting and serving our customers. I think there's like a whole topic just to talk about that.
I've got a great example of that actually, because I recently did it, because my course isn't evergreen. It's we do 3 launches a year, and they're live launches, and I do like a 3-4 day workshop thing, and you know, people come to that and they, you know, get to see what it's all about. And I obviously, as is normal in business, I was increasing my prices each time. And with this launch, even in the marketing, we kind of use that, because I'm always like, what are people's pain points right now? Like, let's use the marketing to speak to that. People are feeling like, you know, recession, and, you know, all the energy rises and all of that stuff. And I'm a big believer in manifestation of money, and money is energy and all of that. And I like to teach that. However, even though we used all of that, and I believe in it myself, the majority of women that are coming my way are women who are at home with their children, women who are sick, women who've got sick children, women who haven't worked for a long time and have to ask their husbands for the money to do the course. And their husbands are going, well, what's it going to do? And they can't give them, it's not like, oh, I'm doing a business course, that at the end of it, I'm going to...
There's another barrier to overtake.
It's another barrier, right?
Yeah.
So this was the launch that I learned the most in out of all my launches, because I was speaking to the women personally, and all the women that had done the challenge, so many of them were like, I'm desperate to enroll in the academy, but I can't afford it. Now, I could have the thought process of some of the business gurus that I follow, like, you stay in your worth, charge more, charge what you're worth, and da-da-da. But actually, when I came down to who are my audience and what do they need and how am I serving them, my audience are women with sick children, women who are sick themselves, women who have no money. And, you know, I have women logging into, well, I had one, and I have women from all different, you know, backgrounds, but I have a woman logging into the calls from a women's refuge, right? These are my people. So I'm not serving them if I'm going on the basis of, I am worth more, so I'm going to increase my prices every time. And I got to that by recognizing, who am I serving? Those are the people I'm serving. So what did I do? I put an email out that day that I realized that to offer a scholarship price for anyone who felt for whatever reason they couldn't afford it. So we started by offering, we had this planned anyway, to offer scholarship options for women of colour from underrepresented communities, because I feel like the wellness industry can be really off-putting to a lot of women of colour. And this is the feedback I get within my course as well, that, you know, there are women in my academy who were like, you know, at the beginning I wasn't sure, because how do I know it's a safe space for me? So that was the first thing we wanted to do, make it more open to women from all backgrounds. I want people to look at my course and see the testimonials from women of all different backgrounds and know that it's not just a place for middle-class white women, and that they can feel safe. And then from that day when that all happened, I was like, no, we need to put another email out for anyone. And there's no conditions to that. You don't need to tell me what your problem is. If you can't afford this, let me know and we'll find a solution for you. And that has been my biggest lesson in business. Like, know who you are serving and serve them to the best of your ability.
And similar things come up for us, you know, with online coaches. They have regular objections. There's about 2 or 3 objections that they get all the time. One of them is, I need to speak to my partner, because it's a commitment. They might have a joint account. And now what we've been doing is putting in the type form before they inquire.
How to talk to your partner about this.
It's one thing not how to talk to your partner, but one is your partner supportive of you building your business? Or is your partner supportive of your recovery? Because asking that question early on when you're on the phone with them
makes them think about it. Yes.
And then when it's given to you as an objection right at the end of the call, now it's like, oh, okay, go and speak to them.
Right, yeah.
But when, yes, they are supportive, or no, they're not. When they say yes, that objection is covered later on.
Totally, yeah.
Because now it's like, well, you said your partner's supportive.
Yeah. And I would go to say, you know, if they're not supportive,
Yeah.
how can we remedy that? Like, how
Yeah.
can we actually talk about how your partner's supporting you or not supporting you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I do that as well. I cover all objections. Like for me, it's always time. I don't have the time. You know, I've got kids, I've got work, I've got time and money and my partner.
yeah. It is that. It is what makes us all happy, health, wealth, relationships. If you can cover all that for everyone, that'll make us all rich and happy.
Yes, but who are you underneath all of that?
Yeah. That's a deeper question.
Exactly. One for another day.
Yeah, definitely. So how's your business doing overall? Is it growing? Are you expanding? Are you doing well?
Yeah, we're expanding. We're just, we've had the academy. So the academy used to be a live course. So I used to teach it to 10 women at a time over the course of 12 weeks. And I turned it into an online course. The first reason was because there wasn't enough integration time between modules. The women needed more time than just 1 week. Obviously, as a business, I couldn't grow if then it was going to be over 6 months instead of 3 months.
Yes.
And the women in the online community seem far more dedicated, because when I've been there leading them through it, even though they've got their group, and we were on like a WhatsApp group for every semester, had their own WhatsApp group. At the end of it, they were so used to me being there holding them accountable that they'd be like, I just can't do it without you. So 2 things have come from that. Number 1, the online course, that it now, the women sign up knowing, I never say sign up, I say enroll. They enroll knowing that it is an online course and it's self-paced and it's up to them. Yeah. But they still have the online community, so they're all there supporting each other. So they're far more focused. Obviously, as a business, you can't scale if you're just doing live, you know, courses with 10 women at a time. So for me, it enables me to bring more people in. What it also taught me was that some people do want more. So we're just starting a membership. We're starting 2 memberships, actually.
Like a portal that they can log into?
No, we're actually doing a different kind of membership. So that we'll probably do that at some point in the future. So we've got the academy, and then we're going to have the business academy. But then we're going to have the 2 memberships. So 1 membership for previous academy members. So anyone who's been a member of the Recondition Your Life Academy, but really wants that accountability and to take it further and to have that support, I will be doing one live coaching call a month, so they can all log in. I will be doing a dedicated topic, so we'll be focusing on specific topics where I think like this is where we need to focus this month. They would have done the whichever module we're focusing on and then come to the call and we'll talk about the module. They can ask me any questions, and then I put them in breakout rooms and they get to talk to each other about a specific topic. They love breakout rooms because they get to know each other. It's really special. They build bonds. So that's for the academy members. But then I'm also doing a membership for anyone who wants to work with me. That will be more kind of generic, not about the academy, because obviously some of those women won't be in the academy. But this is another way that I'm serving my community. It's £35 a month, so it's super cheap and easy for people who maybe can't afford the academy. Not that that's the purpose of it, because some people who are in the academy will still want to do. It's called the Purpose Membership. So anyone that kind of just wants to go deeper on their journey. So again, I'll be holding 1 live call a month, and they can come on, ask questions. I'll give them a topic. They'll do breakout rooms, and there'll be a dedicated online group where they can commune with each other. And within that, there's also 1 Voxer day a month. So they can send me voice notes on Voxer for 1 day of the month that will be open. They send me voice notes, and I'll voice note them back and answer. Because the thing is, a lot of people who have been clients have my phone number, but you know, I'm not going to answer everyone's WhatsApps of, you know, what supplement do I take for this? Or, you know, this trauma's just come up and I need to, you know, so that it's just trying to figure out, you know, and that's the thing in business. As you go along, you figure out what your clients need, what your audience needs, how you can serve more. Especially as you're in a growing
business, how can you keep that intimate relationship with your clients, then feel like they have great access to you,
right?
But still reach people.
Yeah.
That's like, and then keep that community spirit as well.
Totally.
I've got my first course coming out. And we're actually deciding the launch date. We've just finished the course, and it's a 6 weeks course, which is just for online coaches. So we've got the course, the live sessions, and then the pre-work, post-work. So it's a lot of work that goes into this course. So it takes someone from maybe being a personal trainer on the gym floor all the way to building their entire online business within 6 weeks. But then we might have this situation where we need to put it on a portal and a website later. Yeah. But I initially wanted to get live feedback from every single person. I think it's
so important.
And doing those, like, I'm probably a step behind you there, but I have to do those reps with the live sessions, because that'll tell me what people enjoy, what they don't enjoy. But I like the idea of the breakout rooms, because some of the activities, like one part of the course is we actually take from Simon Sinek's How to Sell, and one part is how to ask open-ended questions. And we have an activity where everyone writes down different questions they would ask a potential prospect. And then we work out, are they open, are they closed? And everyone starts this debate on specific questions.
Nice.
And on those questions, we want to put it into a breakout room. So that'd be nice to see how we can actually put them in a room so they can actually discuss, is that an open question or closed? Because sometimes questions seem like both, but they're not.
I have to say breakout rooms are like the most popular. People love it because they get to, when you've been able to have a back and forth with someone else and you build a new connection, you come out of that, you know, that session feeling like you've really gained something. So I know my clients always love the breakout rooms. It's a really great thing to add to a membership.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope we get to speak again, maybe on your podcast.
Yeah,
next.
Totally. Yeah.
I love this conversation because it's like so spontaneous. We were just like,
I know, it's great. I love those are the best conversations, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, because there's a genuine interest. I wanted to know what you do, because your business looks so interesting from the outside. But then it's nice to see how you've built this great business and how it's still building and growing, but you're keeping true to your core values, and that's like the balance that you seem to be doing very well.
Well, I've got to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
But thank you. It's been great. It's been really nice.
Thank you. Nice having you down. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please like and share, comment below, and remember, be hungry, not thirsty.